Last time on Square Roots, we curry favor with Princess Honora at Arl Howe's estate. Then everyone supports the nominee of their choice at the monocratic convention. It's almost like democracy.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Heyo!
John Buzz Brandon.
It's not this game.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
This is a podcast where we play and talk about yours and ours and everybody's favorite classic RPG games, one chonker at a time.
What favorite RPG game are we playing right now?
We are going to finish Dragon Age Origins.
Yay!
Hey.
Kind of, because we didn't do Awakenings.
Well, we are doing Awakenings for
that's
our Patreon.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Let's be a little tighter with the word we.
Okay. Vanessa and I, and Dr. Stephen Stone, are going to do a bonus episode about it for our Patreon.
I thought we were going to do a bonus episode about Captain Marvel.
We are also, I guess we're doing a lot of bonus episodes.
Wait, we're doing a bonus episode on what?
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
We are?
Kind of like we did for Infinity War.
We did that too.
Yes, Jim.
Jim says as he
don't
takes a drink of
remember
a
that
beer
either.
at 1:15 in the afternoon.
This is a Fresca, thank you. It's a sparkling flavored soda.
I'm really just, projecting because I'm seriously thinking about going and grabbing a beer.
Actually, that kind of sounds nice.
I have some cheese.
Ooh, you got some cheese?
Yeah, I got a cheese stick.
I've got
yeah.
a Rockstar Pure Zero, which I really shouldn't drink.
Those are gross.
You're gross.
That's true.
It's true.
So, guys, should we level up? Is that
Yes,
a thing
please.
that we should do? Vanessa, you sound enthusiastic about leveling up. Why don't you go first?
Oh boy, I sure am. I saw a movie that I don't think anyone else in this group has seen called Captain Marvel.
Never heard of it.
I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was not as enthusiastic as Matt is pretending to be when he pretends to have seen the movie. I thought it was a good, normal Marvel movie, which I enjoy very much. But I don't think it's in my top 10, but I am super excited for Endgame now. It got me super pumped to see her interacting with the characters we know and love from the general Avengers franchise.
What about that new Endgame trailer that came out the other day that had her at the end?
It was good.
Ooh, it was good.
I liked it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. Oh, I'm really worried, though. I'm really worried about Tony and Steve and all of my favorite friends.
So someone told me there's 22 Marvel movies so far.
Is that true?
And
I think the next Avengers will be the 22nd.
oh, okay. And this is the first one with a lady lead character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true, and I think we can all agree that ratio is way off. They should have waited until they had 25 male movies, and then they can do one female-led movie as a made-for-TV movie or something.
I've been thinking, remember about how I want everyone to see Battle Arena Toshinden instead of this?
That's right.
I was still thinking about how progressive that movie is and what a weird choice it was for the trolls to tell people to see that instead, because it's people are saying, oh yeah, it's a trans metaphor, and a lot of trans people are watching it and crying, and it's just a super open, liberal, interesting movie.
Well, I think that they've adopted it as proof that they are not sexist.
Oh,
so they're saying,
okay,
we can't possibly be against this movie because of inclusivity, because we love Battle a Boo Boo Arena Angel.
right. Right.
So that is their stance. It's stupid because just see them both.
Yeah.
Like, what's the issue? If you like that movie, see it, and also go see Captain Marvel. If you like Marvel movies, and if you don't like Marvel movies, who cares? I don't care.
Go watch Pride and Prejudice too.
Yeah, go watch Pride and Prejudice 2. Return to Pemberley. There are actually quite a few film versions of like weird sequels or spin-offs of Pride and Prejudice. It's a whole thing.
I would write one.
Would you?
I
Do
love
it.
writing faux. What's her face? What's her name again? The writer.
Jane Austen.
Yeah, writing in faux Jane Austen is like something me and my friends used to do all the time.
That sounds amazing, and I would totally read your book.
Yeah. So let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's what
also-
we're going to do this episode is read
Yeah.
John's fanfic.
Of Pride and Prejudice. I have a feeling that Bingley and Darcy are going to get to know each other a lot better.
Listeners, if you would like to write a letter in a faux Jane Austen style, we will read it on the show.
Please do. That is the only kind of letter I want from now on.
squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
I also have been playing a lot of a game called Animal Crossing New Leaf.
That's where you Island of Dr. Moreau, Animals and Humans, right?
Yes.
Is that really what you do?
Yeah, you
Actually,
That's a nightmare.
that is no joke what Vanessa's mom thought the game was. Because she asked what I had been playing, and she thought that I was like crossing pigs and squirrels and creating new breeds of animals. But that's not what it's about. It's just about like being cool and fishing and things like that. Today, as we're recording, is the fishing tourney. I kind of screwed up because I caught a very big fish right away and turned it in immediately. But now they're like, you have to beat your old like fish score to get more prizes. I should have caught small fish and then turned them in first.
Oh, Vanessa.
And I guess it was a total noob.
But there
move.
is a prize for biggest fish.
Yeah, and I definitely will win that because man, this horse mackerel was like 18 inches long.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The when I was going through some severe depression after a very bad breakup and move, because I had to like leave Colorado and I had to leave film school because I couldn't afford it anymore and broke up with the boyfriend there, and I was depressed and unemployed and I stayed home all day and played Animal Crossing and it really helped because it gave you something to do. I think if you're going through a situational depression, this game can really be good in trying to get you inspired to keep a schedule and do things because the game is about
that's
doing
true.
that.
Yeah. And it's nice because you can just play it a little bit and then put it down. You don't have to spend hours and hours on it.
There's no combat.
There's no combat unless you count fishing as combat. Man versus nature. I do have a small beef with you, John.
Oh no.
I plugged your name and friend code into my little DS, and you have not friended me back.
Oh.
And all I want is to visit your animal town, and I can't do it.
Oh, how do you have my DS code? Did you get it from the 8-bit
Yes,
group?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
send me yours and I'll add it.
Yeah, that's what you say now. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I've monopolized this long enough.
Mhm.
It's time for someone else to level up. And who shall it be? I choose Jim.
I also saw Captain Marvel.
What?
Oh.
It was pretty good. I was surprised at how good Brie Larson and Ben Mendelsohn were. I wish they would have let Brie Larson be funny, or she has really good timing, and they like. It seems like they ran the script through like a Marvel movie computer, and like they came up with these like computer generated points where they had to insert a kind of funny line from her because she was too serious throughout the movie. So there's like 5 times where she gets to eke out kind of a funny one-liner. I wish they let her be funny more.
I thought
But,
she was hilarious.
And like the 5 lines that they gave her to be funny.
She was hilarious constantly throughout the entire movie.
And Ben Mendelsohn was really good, man. Underneath all of his alien makeup, I was surprised he could be as expressive as he was through all that makeup. And he had some really funny lines in the movie. Yeah, it was pretty good. I took my daughter to see it, and she liked it as well, even though she thought the Flurkin was kind of scary. But otherwise, good movie.
I think I'm going to take my daughter tomorrow. I wonder if she'll think the Flurkin is kind of scary.
Yeah, I just don't think... I think it was more unexpected than anything else. She said it was gross.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to say anything else because John hasn't seen it yet because he's boycotting it.
I'm seeing it in like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Speaking of John, will you
John,
please
we're talking
level
about
up and
Captain
tell
Marvel,
us...
not Battle Arena to Shiden.
John, when you level up, will you tell us why you hate women in the media?
But I'm seeing it today.
It's not that he hates women. It's about ethics in media.
Oh, all that forced inclusion in my Marvel movies.
Yeah. It's diversity for diversity's sake. And even though we all agree that diversity is good and benefits everyone, we shouldn't just do it for diversity's sake.
So, John, tell us why you agree with those statements.
Wait. No, but no, I don't agree with those statements.
If you're going to paint me as the stereotypical straight white guy every day, I'm going to paint you as a woman-hating MRA gay man.
Oh, you don't agree with those statements, so you don't think that diversity benefits everyone.
Wait, hey, no, I just want to be friends.
Representation doesn't matter. Quoted John Brandon.
But that's actually what my level up's about when we get there.
Oh, about representation not mattering?
You'll hear it when you hear it, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll just sit in the corner quietly until it's time, like a woman.
This is fun.
Is it? Can we move on to the next level up?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've beaten this bit into the ground.
Yes. Who's leveling up?
It was Jim.
All right.
I leveled up. I was going to pass it to John.
Then do it.
Then
to
do
read
it.
his manifesto.
Then do it.
Do it.
John, how did you level up?
Well, my only bleeding hope is for the folk who can't cope with such an enduring pain that it keeps them in the pouring rain. Who's to blame for tootin' cane in your own vein? What a shame you shoot and aim for someone else's brain. You claim the insane and name this day and time for falling prey to crime. I say the system got you victim to your own mind.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. I literally was listening to that in the car on my way home to record.
Oh, left eye.
I mean, yeah, on my way home to the Square Roots house. Speaking of, is everybody nice and comfy around the Square Roots table?
Yep, Porky's here. She's sitting on the chair next to me.
Our
with
Square
Vanessa
Roots
on the
table
other
in our
side.
Square Roots house.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Star Trek Discovery.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna spoil things, but I have to talk about a character, and the character being in this episode is, I guess, a spoiler. But it's really important to me, and I really want to talk about it.
It was really important to me to talk about Captain Marvel last weekend, and literally you all screamed at me and told me I wasn't allowed to. So I don't see why you get to spoil Star Trek Discovery for me when I haven't seen it yet.
But it's important.
It is important.
Hypocrites.
Unlike Captain Marvel, is that what you're saying, John?
Okay, well, I can talk around it then.
Do it.
I'll talk around it without spoiling it exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. I won't remember by the time I watch it.
There was a moment where a gay character who had immense violence done to him by another character in Star Trek Discovery is supposed to just kind of let it go and have lunch next to the other person. and the character, who is a gay man, decides not to, and confronts him and challenges him to a fight. And this person is a very strong warrior that he's challenging to a fight. And it was a scene unlike any other gay character scene I've ever seen. Like having a strong, like not a strong gay man in the I'm a strong gay man, like in a unrealistic I'm a superhero sense, but like someone actually angry, actually, using their own motivation, their own drive, not being pushed by other people to be good or not being showy. It's just a thing that he had to do, was something I've just never seen before, to the point where the scene like gave me literal chills. Like,
Aw.
I'd never seen anything like this before on TV. Like, he was strong, he was confident, it wasn't fake, it was so real. And it was such a situation that I've been in before. Like, when you are a minority, and I don't want to, like, I don't paint myself as a victim. I don't ever see myself that way. But you sometimes get treated badly, and then you have to like stomach it. You have to be like, well, this is just what happens. And there's another gay man there who's like, well, just leave it alone. And but the first gay man's like, no, I'm doing my own thing here. I'm gonna challenge it. And there was a scene like it in Queer as Folk, but it felt so poorly done in the US TV show that watching it done so well with a good actor here was incredible. And it just like meant so much to me. And then I tweeted about it and tagged the actor, and he like retweeted it and was commenting on that thread for like an hour.
Wow.
With
Cool.
all the people who like his stuff, which is amazing.
Oh, that's really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, the actor's gay man too, and it was so important to me, and just the best episode of Star Trek I've seen in a long time. Like, especially Discovery this season wasn't that great so far, but this episode was amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
And I won't
I'm
go
glad
on.
you found something to connect with like that, John.
Yeah. I never usually feel like TV gets my experience as a gay man, because it's usually the gay men just aren't like me, and it's not in a I'm not like other gay men. It's just like, no, that's not really my experience. But this was so much my experience that it was very strange seeing it on TV. And I think that is why stuff like Wonder Woman or Captain America or Black Panther can matter to people, is when it even though it's silly genre stuff like Star Trek, when it connects to you and it's something you haven't seen before, it's so important, so personal, and so strange to see it on TV. And that's all I wanted to say. That is my level up. Matthew.
I mean, the best genre stuff is authentic emotion just in a heightened situation.
Yeah, for sure. And there's lots of silly, like if you think about the actual situation that's going on that I won't talk about till Matthew's seen it, it's very silly. But this was not silly at all. And go Star Trek. I'm glad that apparently the next episode, which I haven't seen yet, is even better. And I'm glad that because this season went through the person leading the show got fired halfway through.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's
Halfway
very
through
weird.
this season?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like big changes. They keep shaking it up.
Was that Hannibal guy, or did he?
No, he got fired through. He got like fired after the second episode or something in the first season.
Golly.
They have a lot of problems trying to keep things going on that show.
I need to get myself that CBS All Access thing.
I'm excited for when the Twilight Zone hits that.
I'm gonna get a Twilight Zone hoodie.
Are you? Because you worked on the show?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell him you need two.
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh.
So, Matthew,
Yes.
how did you level up?
Oh boy. I guess the one thing that I've been doing a lot of this week is watching a lot of escapist videos. Did you guys know that the escapist is like still a thing?
What's that?
You're talking about that old Yahtzee thing, right?
Yeah, I was a really big fan of that like 5 years ago.
The zero punctuation?
Zero punctuation, but also they had a guy named Movie Bob who did movie reviews and pop culture stuff, pop culture series called The Big Picture that I always thought was great. And then, I don't know, I thought the website shut down or something. But I read recently that some of the original guys had bought it back from whoever owned it, like Yahtzee and Bob, and have relaunched the site. Kind of, I mean, it looks the same as it always did. So I've been watching. It was kind of neat because I was like, oh, this is still around? And then I was like, oh, I've got like 5 years of Zero Punctuation to watch. And I have been. And it's pretty entertaining. I mean, they're all... Yahtzee's a little problematic. He's kind of an edgelord, unfortunately. But not too bad, so...
Yeah, he's not that bad. Like, he's definitely not... shitty.
He's not like a gamer-gator. He's not a huge misogynist. He's not a huge racist, but he does occasionally push the line on making misogynistic and racist and homophobic jokes. Just kind of, and particularly the older stuff. But, you know, you kind of get a pass when you're talking about stuff from like 2007. To an extent.
Yeah.
But I did just send you guys, and I'll post this in the group next week, a review of Captain Marvel from Movie Bob that I've watched like 3 times now, because I think he manages to describe the Marvel Cinematic Universe in like the most succinct and correct way I've ever heard of it being a collection of really good movies. You just have to watch it. So anyway, I guess that's my level up. Go. What?
If you liked a lot of those YouTubers that then turned out to be super racist and weird. Not Yahtzee. Yahtzee's fine. There's this one called Super Butter Buns, and she does sort of a JonTron style show, but it's really funny, and she's pretty cool. She seems like a cool person, and I really recommend it if you like that kind of stuff, like real edgy and loud but funny.
What I like about The Escapists, I really enjoy the like 5 to 6 minute little real simple animation videos. I just think they're great. I think it's a great. I wish that we could do something like that. I mean, the animation is none of us know how to do that, but
no,
it's a pretty neat way to do things. I actually ended up watching. So Escapists had posted on YouTube all Zero Punctuation 2018, all episodes as one video. It was 4 and some odd hours long. I watched the whole goddamn thing. I mean, I was working at the time, so I was, it was kind of more background noise than anything. But
Matthew's boss don't listen to this episode.
They don't. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to mention that it's I don't know. It's kind of neat. Some of those guys, people like Jimquisition. He's never quite been to my taste. He's a little too. He's smart, and he's usually right in what he is saying, but I don't care for his delivery. But that's just, that's just me. That's not him. Anyway, so I don't know. Of course, the concern is always like, who's behind the scenes here? Is it going to turn out to be... Yeah, these days when it comes to gaming websites, I'm always a little wary because you never know who's going to turn around and be like, by the way, women are shit. Or like... representation doesn't matter, like our own John Brandon. So,
John, that really irked John.
But I will post that Escapist, the Captain Marvel movie review, the day this episode comes out, and I would urge you to watch it, not because he says anything revolutionary, but just because he manages to really hit the nail on the head. I watched it, and my first thought was, this guy just gets it. He gets the representation. He just gets it. So anyway, I think that's good enough for me. Well, I guess that's it for the level up segment, and we should probably move on to the big main segment of the show. You know what it's called, ladies and gentlemen. It's the quest log.
The quest log.
Does anybody else think that Jim kind of looks like Hawkeye from the new Endgame trailers now?
Because he has the same haircut?
Yes.
It's not quite the same. You know what?
You're right. We're going to call you Hawk Guy.
That's not bad.
Maybe you need to go shorter on the sides and longer on the top.
You know, I do kind of have a Hawkeye, only mine doesn't go all the way back down the back of my head.
That's good, because that's not
like
a good book.
It's a Hawkeye that you can wear in
Quest
everyday life.
log.
Yeah.
Quest log.
Quest log.
All right.
I love that the next episode will have to, or the next series will have to be like, call your dad.
Call your dad.
Which is great.
Phone home.
Specifically, call dad.
Yeah, he's at the office.
Yeah,
He's not at home.
He's not at home.
Yeah, it's time for our final chonker.
We
of
did it,
Chonker.
guys. We finished Dragon Age.
Finish that
Did
level
we?
up.
We all finished. Especially Alistair.
Alistair's just, he's just too much. It's like, baby, I'm too much man for one woman. Sometimes,
Didn't
like,
you marry Alistair? And you still handed him off to Morrigan? Ugh.
she's into that.
I thought you were playing good.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah.
Redcliffe Castle!
Red Cliff Castle. So we read.
Something happened to me before I went to Redcliffe Castle.
Ooh, tell me more.
I'm going to derail this right away.
Good.
Do y'all remember my friend Slim?
No.
Yes.
Slim in the
yeah.
marketplace.
Yeah, the one who
sent
set
me to
you up.
rob a whole bunch of places.
Oh, the
Yeah.
real Slim. Gotcha.
Yeah, the real Slim. So
He's a little shady.
Back. He was hanging out in the market when I walked past,
And you were
he
like,
was
please
"Hey,
stand up.
Hey, yeah. I was like, and he's like, I'm already standing. I don't know what you mean, but hello. I'm sorry about how last time it was a total trap, but I have a great idea. Go back to that house where it was a total trap and steal the Tears of Andraste.
Ooh.
And I was all, the Tears of Andraste? That belongs in a museum. I mean, that belongs in a chantry. And he's like, yeah, go steal it. And then I'm going to give it to the chantry.
Sure you will.
And I was like, all right, Slim. I'll go back and steal these tears, and then we'll see what's what. So I did. You can go back. You go through this guy's whole house this time. It's full of traps. And you go back to the basement where you were ambushed before, and there's a secret door to a secret vault. There's a room with some golems in it, but they didn't wake up because I didn't trigger the traps. And then in the very back, there's a little vial with the Tears of Andraste.
Whoa. What do you do with them?
Well, I took him back to Slim, and he's like, cool, give them to me, and then I have arranged for them to go to the chantry. And I'm like, what if I give them to the chantry instead? And he's like, well, I guess you could go just drop them in that charity box there. I don't want to do it because I'm shady, but you're legitimate, so they probably won't even blink twice at you putting some stuff in the charity box. So that's what I did. And I walked past Sister Justine, and she was like, this can't possibly be the Tears of Andraste. Things like this don't just turn up in the charity box, but they do. The end. Thus ends the saga of me and Slim.
How did they collect those?
The tears?
Did they tell her a sad story and then like put the vial under her eyes?
Probably.
Okay.
I think she was always kind of crying for like the fate of her people or something. Holy stuff.
Oh.
So that was my last little stop in Denerim on my way to Redcliffe, where nothing happens.
Yeah. Nothing So, the reason we rushed off was at the end of the Lance meet. People are like, Denerim, or Redcliffe's under attack. That's where the archdemon's going. That's the final showdown. And you head out, you race out there. And there are some darkspawn there. You can actually go through like the whole town and clear it out with like kill all the ogres and everything.
Yeah, I did it.
But it wasn't. Like you go to the Arl of Redcliffe and they're like, yeah, this wasn't a real attack. This was a diversion.
Yeah, it was like a distraction.
Oh, they got us.
Oh, those tricky darkspawn.
Uh-oh.
It turns out they are going to attack Denerim, and this was a diversion.
Why Denerim?
Because
It's the only large city on the entire map.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
Redcliffe is a castle and like 4 huts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a major metropolis.
No.
It's more of a Gotham.
Yeah. Oh, I get your joke.
But you can't
Jesus.
go out yet because you need the evening to get your armies together, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to marshal your forces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to marshal Mathers your forces.
Mm-hmm. Because it gives you one last night with your true love, Alistair.
Oh.
Your betrothed, the future king,
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy some tender time together.
He's in mine. He's married to Honora.
Oh no, that's right. Oh, what did you do?
He's not my type.
How does he feel about that?
Is he anyone's type? He's such a fucking douchebag.
He seems okay.
Alistair, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna be king, though. It's my Alistair impression. Was it good?
Well,
It was really good.
I think we test his relationship with Honora in a moment, anyways.
Yeah. So that one librarian is there. You know the librarian we got from the dungeon?
Vaguely.
He's like, I'm a Grey Warden, and I'm a
oh,
librarian.
Riordan?
Yeah.
He's a librarian?
Well, he has a bunch of documents and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Riordan's like, oh, there's one part I didn't tell you guys.
Oh, That's probably not a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
Oh, no.
It
So,
doesn't sound like it.
you know how we have to kill the archdemon, and it's really important that the Grey Warden does this, and this is why the Grey Wardens are important?
Uh-huh.
It turns out that to kill a
What is this?
archdemon...
What are you doing? Stop
I'm
it.
doing Riordan's accent. To kill a archdemon, you have to kill yourself.
What?
Grey Warden has to die
Mhm.
for archdemon to die, because the archdemon's soul goes inside the Grey Warden, and then they go poof, do black.
Sounds pretty dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this didn't, it wasn't the world's biggest news, because, I have this extra Grey Warden who's telling me about it.
Yeah, well, so let's let him do it. And he's like, actually, he volunteers too, because he's the oldest.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the oldest. I should do it. I'm super tainted. I won't be around very long anyway, because the taint is going to consume me.
Yeah, it will.
So I will go ahead and do it.
All
And
right.
we're all just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. So I guess discussion over.
Yep, so then it's off to Betty Bye.
Mm-hmm.
But someone is waiting for me in my chambers.
But
and
is it
it's
Alistair?
not- no. I don't know why we're in separate rooms anyway.
I thought you were
but
into that.
Are you married?
I am into that, that's true.
Can't share
Before
a
the
room until you're
podcast,
married.
before the
I
podcast
guess we're
started,
not technically married.
Vanessa admitted that she and if she ever were to have a romantic partner, they would sleep in a separate bed than her, and they would have a Downton Abbey style relationship where they rap at the door at 2 a.m. to share a night together.
Separate bedrooms are so underrated. They're amazing.
Anyway,
If I can't have separate houses.
so
separate
who's
bedrooms will
there
have to do.
in your room?
Morgan.
Morgan. Oh.
Yeah, she's come to seduce me.
Oh. Well, that's hot.
She's sort of like, you walk in and she's like, don't be worried, it's only me. But I'd actually walked past her earlier and, seen her in there and had a conversation, so I don't know why she thought I'd be so startled by it now.
Mm-hmm.
But, she has something to say.
Oh.
Morgan has a plan.
Morgan has a biological clock like all ladies do.
That's right. Morgan seems to have had this plan from perhaps the very get-go.
Morgan's smart.
Yeah, it seems like maybe, we've always kind of been wondering, why did Flemeth send Morgan with us? Why is she here? She doesn't seem into helping anyone.
I played this game all wrong.
Yeah, turns out Morgan has a plan. And Morgan's plan is to It's too...
Two.
I'm not going to say. She doesn't have a plan. There's
She
no
has a plan. Her plan. She needs either... she needs a male Grey Warden, who is not you, unless you are a male Grey Warden, in which case it can be you,
I played this game all wrong.
insedulate her.
And what is the purpose of insedulating Morrigan?
Well,
Other than
you
her biological
see,
clock, apparently, according to John.
She and her mom had done some studying, and it turns out that the archdemons are in fact just old gods that have kind of rotted and gone crazy. And
because of the taint.
when and Morgan knows
Spend enough time on the taint, and you'll go crazy.
she
Yep.
knows that if an archdemon is killed, it means the Grey Warden is killed. And she's like, well, I know that Riordan's volunteered, but just in case, would you like an insurance policy? Because if I get knocked up by a Grey Warden tonight, then I am able, through casting spells and poultices and things, to ensure that the archdemon, instead of going inside you and killing you,
Poultices?
goes inside my baby. And
What?
That's
or
a crazy
fetus.
thing to offer.
Goes inside my fetus, and basically my fetus becomes an old god.
Uh-huh.
What?
And
Why would you want your fetus to become a crazy old god?
And I asked her that, and she says, my reasons are my own,
Well, that ain't good enough.
and I will not tell you where I'm going or what I will do with this old god. In fact, after the battle, I'm going to just disappear. You will not ever see me again.
John, did you kill Flemeth?
Yeah, I said I did to her.
But he did.
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
So Flemeth and I have an understanding that she's to leave Morgan alone. In return, I let her live, and also Morgan thinks that I killed her mom, and now we're best friends.
Yeah. So this isn't like... It's a weird plan, but if she wants to sleep with Riordan, then that's fine. Go ahead.
Riordan's sperm is too tainted. So
Also,
she has
he
to go
old,
for...
and you don't want them old spermy babies.
She has to go for someone who's been a Grey Warden pretty recently. So either
okay.
if you have a male warden, then that character, or
Yeah?
Alistair.
No?
Is it possible that she wants to do this so that she can then go? I don't want to I promise I'm not trying to be like fucking Mr. Edgelord here, but is she like doing this and then she gonna go abort that baby?
No. Nope. She wants that baby to live.
Well, here's the thing. Alistair is my betrothed. Alistair hate Morgan.
He does?
Alistair love me.
Mm-hmm.
So
of course you would say no.
Yeah. Of course you
Yeah.
would say no, Vanessa. In
You
fact,
don't
of
want
course
a
either
child-
of you would say no because this is a crazy plan. And I was under the impression that we were all playing this as good guys. So
Well, I
I
never
think
said
that
I would.
we all agree that you, like me, told her to fuck off with her crazy baby plan.
here's the thing.
And then she'd leave the party. Faux good.
Morgan makes some very good points. Point number one, Alistair is like a real good guy, and he's the future king of Ferelden. And so, should it come down to it, he'll probably do his duty and kill the archdemon to save his people. And that would make me super sad because I love him.
Oh, 'cause he
And
would
we have
die.
this- Yeah, he would die, and we have this great plan to get married and rule Ferelden together.
Right.
Likewise, were I to kill the archdemon, then I would die, and he would be super sad because he loves me, and also, he doesn't have the kind of experience with nobility that I do.
Right.
And I don't think that he could govern as effectively if I were to die from the archdemon.
Oh,
And-
wow. Give him some credit. Jeez.
And also, like, when you're in a relationship with someone, you can negotiate all kinds of things. These days, it's 2018. No, wait, it's
Is it?
2008.
You can, but not everybody necessarily is going to be into that.
No, I know, but it's worth having a conversation with your partner.
Did I ever tell y'all
monogamy.
about how at the end of my marriage, when I was in marriage counseling, my wife and I were getting along so poorly that the therapist suggested that we might consider what did she call it? A companionate relationship, which is to say we might start sleeping with other people.
A companionate marriage.
We did not go back to see that marriage counselor again.
But it's a possibility these days. People couple for all kinds of reasons, and sex is just one of them. And maybe your needs aren't fulfilled with one partner. The point is, like, I was the only person he'd ever slept with, too, It's like, is it really right for me to be like, listen, dude, you have to, like, only be with one person for your whole life, just because...
They don't live in 2019. They live in medieval society.
That's true.
Like, trying to show up in medieval society with your 2019 values would probably get you stoned to death.
That's true. Also, according to you, I am a witch.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So that would get me stoned or burnt at the stake.
Or
At the end of the day, I thought that it should probably be up to Alistair to make this important decision.
did you use the persuade ability to force a decision? Because he doesn't want to.
Oh my god. This is horrible. I hate Alistair, but you don't deserve him.
How dare you!
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? So, John,
Look,
what did you do?
Well, I like to be the voice of sanity here. So, I decided there's two factors to my decision here. One is that last time I played 10 years ago, I went with the not having a baby with Morgan route because that was the sane thing to do. However, then the end of the game was so hard I had to reduce it to easy because I wasn't very good at RPGs, and Morgan was like my go-to party member, and she left because she got so mad at me not wanting to inbabiate her that she just goes. So if you choose not to let her do this, she leaves your party forever. And what I did this time, factoring in one, that I want to try something different, and two, I'm playing the game on hard and I need Morgan in my party, is I just basically bullied Alistair into having sex with her.
Jesus. Part of me is like, this is pushing the line. But then the other part of me is like, I don't know. I've been bullied into having sex with people before. It happens.
Me too.
Sometimes you just do it.
Yep.
Market
show.
I guess.
It's an interesting conversation that you have with Alistair. In my case, I went in and he was like, hey, I saw Morgan in your room. What were you talking about? And I tried to sort of beat around the bush, as it were, as he soon shall be doing. And then I eventually just out and out said it. You need to sleep with Morgan. And he's like, ha ha, very funny. Die at the hands of an archdemon or sleep with Morgan. Ooh, what a rough choice. You're getting me back for all the jokes I played on you. Lol, 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 lol. And he leans against the bedpost and he's like grinning. And then he looks at your face and he's like, ugh.
So you're into that kind of relationship.
He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't like Morgan. And he doesn't want to do it. But through the power of persuasion, he comes to see things my way. I thought this was a good plan. There didn't seem to be that much of a downside to it.
Having an elder
just-
god reborn as a child.
It occurs to me that this is kind of an Arthurian situation. Like, you have Alistair sleep with Morgan even though he's not into her, just so that she can have his baby, and now she's got a royal baby out there somewhere in the world, in your worlds anyway, that she's probably going to use to raise an army and conquer the fucking country.
No, she promises that it has nothing to do with Alistair being king or with having a royal baby or anything.
So is this explored at all in the next games?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So
I vaguely remember Morgan showing up in the third one, but I don't.
Yeah.
I remember.
And the creepy kid.
I mean, I just remember being
There
like,
is
she's
a
so
Oh,
hot.
I don't
child.
remember the creepy kid.
I don't remember the
well,
kid
it
either.
depends on your decisions that you make in this game.
Well, not when you're starting fucking with a fresh save.
But you can import your old choices into Inquisition
Yes, but
and
if
whatnot.
you don't,
But you can
If you
can go to that
I think it
website.
defaults to no baby, actually.
Yeah, you
Interesting.
can go to the website and redo. Like, basically, there's a website where you can choose all the choices from the first two games and then set that up on your account.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's
Is
super
that
cool.
via EA?
Yeah, it's like the Dragon Age Keep. I think
That's a
it's
really
Yeah.
neat idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great because then you can play with different worlds, but also you can play on different platforms.
And also
So if
not
you
have
played
to
the first game
replay
on
these terrible
PC
games over and over again to see the. I mean, did I say? So never mind.
Yeah,
We'll get to
they're
that
wonderful
later.
games. So speaking of getting to it, Morgan comes in and she's like, "What's up?"
Did you say speaking of getting to it?
Yeah. And Alistair's like, okay, let's get this over with before I change my mind. And then she kind of crosses a line a little bit. She's like, you're not going to hate this as much as you think you are. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I was expecting him to hate this. Like, I'm okay with this happening, but I'm not okay with him enjoying it. This is a grim duty. This is not like a pleasureful time for anyone involved.
I've had a grim duty before.
Yeah, me too. Too much protein. So then Alistair's lying on his back in his small clothes in the bed. And Morgan comes waltzing in her underwear. And you know what starts playing? The romance music. My romance music. The romance music that plays when I romance Alistair. That is our song. She has put our song on. He, of course, is a scared, so he starts scooting his way back up the bed as she approaches towards the headboard. Eventually, though, he can go no further. And do you know what? Do you know what he does, John?
What?
His facial expression changes from horror and revulsion to a smile.
Well, you know.
No, I do not know.
Every
no.
straight man smile when he see the boobies. Like, that's just
No.
ain't no stopping that.
No. This should
Like,
not
I
have
wanna do
happened
but
this
I
way.
like the boobies.
You know how you can impregnate someone? Through a hole in the wall. And that's what should have happened.
What the
A
fuck?
hole in the wall.
What?
Yeah.
You wanted him to
get
glory
yourself
hole her?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Jesus Christ.
You know, perhaps a sheet. You can put a sheet between the two of you.
There are some religions that dictate this, or
Yeah,
branches
yeah.
of.
Could have cut a little hole in a sheet, put it over Alistair, have her come in, do whatever
Have
it
him
is she
come
needs to
in.
do. Or why not? Why not just send him into a back room with a ye olde magazine and then she can get it while it's fresh? This did not have to go down this way, and I am not okay with it. And I want to know whose bright idea this was in the
Yours.
first place.
Did you not have the option to just make it a three-way? Because that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
let
want
you in
your
on it.
fiance
A
to
lot
knock
more
me up.
sense.
All right, well, we can
I-
make that happen.
I can make out with Morgan while Morgan's taking the Alistair chunker, and
Oh, my chunker. Oh,
so
it's tainted forever.
before we get there, this area, this part of the game if you have done Leliana's side quest, and she's your bestie, she decides to sing for the entire camp. Do you remember this?
I've had her sing before, but I didn't do her side quest.
Where she, like, sings and everyone sits and watches her as she runs around the camp, like, singing to everybody to inspire them for the final fight.
Oh, no, I have not seen this. I don't even know how to get Leliana's loyalty quest. It never came up.
Yeah, it never came up for me this time, but I know I did it last time. And you find out a lot more about her and her, like, mysterious past. That she was
Do you
like...
have to be a man?
Maybe. That might be it. Because I also didn't do Wynn's side quest thing with the demon. So, yeah, neither of those came out because I didn't talk to the women in my party enough because I'm awful.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it is one of the most awkward pieces of, like, BioWare cutscenes because everyone's got these robotic faces as she's singing, and they just all look super uncomfortable, which might be realistic because anytime someone in person is singing to me and, like, 3 feet away from me, I find it very uncomfortable, and I don't know what to do.
I hate it. I hate being serenaded. It's the worst thing. It's almost as bad as someone coming up to you and trying to do close-up magic in your face. It's awful.
I did years and years ago, probably 9 years ago, I was at a bar with some friends and I did a karaoke song.
Yeah.
And it was a Kenny Chesney song about marriage and children and stuff. Yeah. Hey guys, I live in Florida. We drink a lot. Kenny Chesney pretty big around here. And
Please sing it
I was
now.
out with a bunch of friends and my wife. My friends like grabbed a chair for my wife and stuck it in front of the stage so I could serenade her.
Oh
and
my
she
God.
and I were both the most miserable people ever during that 3 minutes. And afterwards I was like, why did you do that? And she's like, I don't fucking know, but I hated it. I'm like, I know, me too.
What song was it?
What is the song? It's...
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I only know one Kenny Chesney song from when I lived in Kansas. Is it The Good Stuff?
No, I don't know. It's the one about the little girl. It's like starts with him knocking somebody up, and then it's like a few years later, your daughter, and then a few years after that, she goes. You're wishing her goodbye when she goes to college.
Hey, little girl, I knocked you up, and now you're gonna have your own little girl. She's my little girl.
I don't
and
know
she's
who
going
Kenny
to
Chesney is. I thought he was like a
college.
vice president.
No, he is a
College
country
time
singer.
for
He
my
is
He's
a-
like
little girl.
I look
He
at
was-
him like a
he-
modern Garth Brooks. Like he's country, but
kinda
he's
real-
it's rock and roll.
He like hit his peak in the mid to late 2000s, and he was popular for wearing sleeveless shirts and having very toned arms.
His
Oh.
his
Little
first
girl,
big
get in
hit
my
was "She
truck,
Thinks
it's a
My
pickup
Tractor's
truck.
Sexy."
I like to lose my tire.
Oh.
I think I've heard that tractor song.
It's a good song. Listen, that music is not necessarily like deep or like revolutionary, but it's great. Like, get a lot of drunk people together and listen to it. It's pretty good.
Hey, little
I
girl,
went
it's
to
me,
a
Blake
Salvadorian
Sheldon.
restaurant
I have a hat
that used to
and
be
I ride a
like
horse. It's
on Main and
country.
Broadway area
Look at
in
the
Vancouver.
wheat.
And they had a guy with a
I like
guitar
farming.
singing that
I
night.
think horses are sweet.
And he was singing like songs in
Chicken
Spanish,
my farm,
and
working on my farm,
there was
stealing
only like 4
hay
people in the
all
restaurant that
day.
night. So he like came up
Wishing you
right
were
next to
here
us and
so
sang
I
in our
could be
faces, and
near
it wasn't
in the
even a date.
cornfield,
was really weird.
baby. Hey, little girl, get in my truck. We're gonna go hunting some ducks.
I'm currently
guess we-
looking at
Boy,
Kenny Chesney tracks
I'm
and
wearing
legitimately like getting
boots.
chills looking at it and being like, oh, I fucking remember that song.
Oh boy.
like emotional.
Yeah.
chills?
No, man. Listen, I don't want to talk about this.
So finally,
Memories.
we go
It is.
on a march with all our armies have been gathered. We are marching on Denerim. Whoever
Beer
you've
in
recruited
Mexico is another
or
big hit.
not recruited.
The song, Jim, is "There Goes My Life."
Oh God, I've heard that song before.
Yeah.
You get a voiceover. Is it the Arl Eamon voiceover? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Just talking about all the armies you've gathered. Now, I thought I'd gathered everybody, and I did the Happy Tower ending,
Jeez.
but the Templars didn't come with me.
Oh.
They were not available in the final fight, and I don't know what I did wrong.
That's weird.
I think you can only have mages or Templars. You can't have both, right?
Did you
I thought-
free the mages?
I freed the mages, but no, I didn't. I set them up, and they're both happy at the end. So I thought you could get both.
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
And
Alistair made a rousing speech. Did you get that?
I did.
It was great.
Yeah,
He really stepped up.
Yep. To the streets.
Yep, he stepped up to the streets and he made a little speech and he talked about me a lot too.
Yep. Without my bestest lady.
He's
Queen
like, this
Honora.
woman behind me. No, not Queen Honora. Me. He's obviously feeling guilty about what he did the night before. And so he was really talking me up.
Oh.
It's like, this woman has been through so much. She's amazing. She's proof that we can do whatever it is we need to do. She's the best. Morgan who? I've never even heard of
This
Morgan.
is one of those things in BioWare games where I wish they kind of toned it down a little bit. I don't need everyone in the game telling me how amazing I am at all times. My self-confidence is pretty good. I'm fine. I don't need this game. I can be a little crappy. Like, I've done some bad things in this game.
I love it.
Okay.
I can't get enough of it. It's the best. Sten has a special name for me now.
Kadan.
Everyone's like, yes, my friend. Alistair's like, your wish is my command. Everyone's like, you're the best warden ever. Oh my god, you're so amazing.
Do you feel that way when your mom goes on about how special you are in Earthbound?
Nope.
Okay. We'll get that next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the rousing speech is done. We are prepared to fight the Darkspawn, and we get to Denerim, and it's a mess.
Oh, yeah, they're all over the heckin' place, and I didn't even know what to do.
Hey, I never remember how I found my friend, and he like came out and said hi, but then went away. He never came back in my game.
Oh.
That plot never resolved itself. The only thing was that his ghost told me to let him be and not blame myself in the Temple of Andraste there.
Oh, I guess he's dead then.
I guess, but I thought it was weird that they kind of set up that this was going to be a big thing, and it never happened. Anyway.
Yeah, that's strange.
So you get it's one of these areas where you just control yourself, but you get to see your entire party, like all 7 of them fighting next to you, which is really cool.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
And you go through. Even on hard, this is an easy fight. Like, I didn't die or anything, and
yeah, it's just waves of Darkspawn.
yeah. So you get through that, and then someone, I guess in this case it's Riordan, comes up to you and says, all right, now that you've cleared out the gates, we need to go inside, and you can only bring 3 people with you because this is a video game, and that's how many people are in your party.
Yeah.
And the rest will need to guard the gates. Who are you going to pick to guard the gates? So who was in your party, and who did you pick to guard the gates?
I'll tell you who wasn't in my party.
Oh.
Morgan!
Oh, that's right, because you refused to let her have the D.
Well, my character doesn't have the D, so...
So did she just leave in a huff?
Yeah, she leaves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
Morgan, bail, forever. Mm-hmm. She's so mad that she will not let her sleep with Alistair to have a demon baby that she leaves.
It seems a little unreasonable.
It is incredibly unreasonable. I gotta be honest with you guys. This plot turn is bad.
I liked it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
So, for me, it made sense that she came to me first because I am in this committed relationship with Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to, like, feel me out before she even approached him with the idea.
Hot.
But why would she go to you if you aren't in a romantic relationship with Alistair?
Well, what's
Why
the
wouldn't she
romantic
just go to
relationship with
him?
Alistair even have to do with it? Like, that's just a hurdle in your situation. For the rest of us, she's come up with a way to try and save our lives.
Right.
Yeah.
But why doesn't she just go to Alistair and be like, what's up?
Because
Why wouldn't
he hates
she
her.
want to get your okay first before she proceeds with this crazy plan to have a demon baby?
She asks
Well, why-
me to convince him because he really respects me and my opinions.
That's true. He does.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why.
I took her and Alistair and Wynn because that's who I've had the whole time. It was a little awkward taking Morgan and Alistair, but I figure if this is her plan for the demon to go into her womb, then her womb should be close by.
I mean, I just want to say it again. If you would have just had the three-way, this wouldn't be so awkward for you.
Yep, exactly. I did the exact same party as Vanessa, unfortunately, so nothing different there. And for the person who you choose to guard the gates, I chose Sten because he's like a crazy kick-ass warrior and he knows
I also
tactics.
chose Sten.
I used Morgan the whole game, but my party was mostly Leliana, Alistair, and her, so that's what I did.
Well, who
Story
was?
makes no
Yeah,
sense.
she's gone. Who did you choose for your final battle?
Win.
Oh,
Gotta have that extra magic user. Magic
Yes.
is basically a cheat code.
yep. Although not the only cheat code. You can use.
I mean, it's no power of Andraste.
Aw, Andraste.
Jim found that the power of Andraste can work in more than just Dragon Age. We'll talk about that next week.
We'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah. So, we do the fights through. You see the archdemon. He's flying over Fort Dracon.
That's where you were locked up with Alistair.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we had the sexy times, except I didn't have sex with him, but we were in our small clothes. And so Riordan's like, well, I'm going to go after the archdemon. You maybe should try to find the generals, because he's got some generals that are super powerful hidden around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do that. So the first place you go to is the Denerim Market.
It's really like a whole tour of Denerim.
Yeah. You do the market, and there's a general there. Now, the system, there's a new gameplay system here, where in each zone, you can summon one chunk of the army, like a squad, to come with you. And so, like, you can get the dwarves to attack, or you can get the elves to attack, or you can get the mages to attack, or the Templars, or the Redcliffe dudes.
Wow,
And
is this real? Sorry.
Yes, it's real.
it's real.
New Zealand Attorney General announces the government will ban semi-automatic guns.
It's a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, they were super into like things are gonna change.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys see the Egg Boy?
Yes. Oh my god,
Kid's
that was
my
amazing.
fucking hero right now.
Who's Egg Kid?
Some Australian, I don't know what their
A senator.
senator of some
Yeah, it was
kind
senator.
was blaming Muslims for the attack in Christchurch, and some 17-year-old kid smacked him in the side of the face with a fucking egg.
Good.
And he
Great.
turned around and punched that kid in the head.
I
too.
mean,
He did punch the kid.
I gotta say though, like, don't get me wrong, fuck that piece of shit, but I actually have had somebody smack me in the face with an egg before, and I did turn around and punch him, and he was one of my best friends. Not after that night.
Why did he do it? As a joke?
I mean, kinda, he was wasted, and he was one of those guys that would kind of lose control when he got really, really drunk. And I don't know, man. He thought he was breaking shit in my house and being a dick, and we were telling him to get the fuck out, and he grabs an egg out of my fridge and smacks me in the face with it, and I just fucking laid into him. We didn't really hang out after that. Weird. Anyway. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the show. I just saw that and was surprised.
So, one thing is the mages, there's only 12 of them. But basically each encounter is kind of like one army will be really good and helpful, and the rest of them will kind of die really fast. So it's sort of a puzzle of figuring out who would be the best choice. Like for the market, if you choose the mages, they will help you kick ass. and like no one will die. They just destroy everybody. It's really fun. The dwarves, because I got those Legion of the Dead with me.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
amazing.
Me too.
And the elves are pretty good. Now, the second place you go to is the alienage. And do you remember Shiana, the lady who was standing outside of the clinic?
Yes.
She's there, and she's like, we're under attack. And you can tell her to get to safety, or you can be like, well, how about you help us? And she's like, well, I don't have any armor. I just have some bows, and that's it, no armor. And you're like, well, sorry, if you don't help us now, you just might die. You might as well die fighting, is what I said. Because I'm an elf, too. So I'm like, no, you come and help me. And it turns out she's basically invincible and destroys people. So
that's amazing.
Put her.
I told her to get to safety, and now I regret it.
Yeah, tell her to fight, because she is incredible. And that way you have these elves fighting, and you can have an army unit fighting too. And that, because this is on hard, this is crazy hard if you don't have two, both the elves and someone else fighting with you. So strongly recommend you do that. And finally, it cuts to Riordan. And he's on top of Fort Dracon and jumps off of it onto the back of the archdemon.
That's great. He's the guy who's going to kill the archdemon to avoid Alistair or I having to do it.
Can I say that one thing that really annoys the shit out of me here is, can we stop calling it a fucking archdemon? It's a dragon!
It is a big dragon.
We know what dragons are. There are dragons in this fucking
that's true.
world. The game is called Dragon Age.
That is kind of disappointing that it's a dragon, not like a cool Lovecraftian old god kind of a thing.
Anything creative. Instead, it's just a dragon.
It's an undead-looking dragon.
This is going to lean into my
it's a moldy dragon.
Final thoughts on this game, which is it's generic as fuck.
So, Riordan jumps on the back of this bony dragon and is fighting it. And how does does the dragon bite him or claw him or smash him up against the side of a building or something?
I have a habit of looking at my phone during cutscenes, so...
Well, he is on top of the dragon trying to stab it. The dragon does some spins and then, gets him... almost flying off of him, but on his way down, he slices through the belly of the dragon quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then you see him plummet to his death.
I needed him.
Archdemon, not dead.
No.
Sorry, Vanessa. And I thought you talked to the Archdemon, but I realized I was mixing that up with Dragon Age, where you talk to the Sovereign. Or not Dragon Age, Mass Effect, where you talk to the ship. So you don't talk to the Archdemon.
This demon has nothing to say.
No. And, so you are going to have to kill... You or Alistair are going to have to kill the Archdemon, which, if you are playing without Morrigan being knocked up, is a problem.
It is a problem. I guess I made the right choice.
Right. So now you have to start marching towards Fort Dracon after killing the generals. Mm-hmm. And you get there and you get assaulted by tons of archers, and it's like a long crawl. You get inside of Fort Dracon, and you can actually kind of skip a lot of encounters here, especially if you sneak, as Vanessa is prone to do.
I was prone to asking Andraste for help through this long slog.
Right.
And she helped me.
There is one room you get to in Fort Dracon that is full of dead darkspawn.
This is my favorite part of the game.
What happens?
So you get into this room, and it's just full of dead darkspawn, and they're dead in interesting ways, like eyes sticking out of them, and
they were killed by
everywhere.
Magic.
One of them seems to have been reverse aged to death. One of them died by his skin killing him, which is pretty tough.
Some of them are dusted Thanatos style.
Thanatos?
Spoilers.
Yeah, Thanatos from Persona.
Yeah. From Persona.
You know how he likes to dust people.
Yeah. And in the middle of this whole room is our dear, dear friend, Sandal.
Yay! Enchantment!
And, you say to Sandal, Sandal, what happened here? And he says,
Enchantment!
Enchantment? You can kind of question him more, and he says, enchantment.
Mm-hmm. And you can also buy some of Bodan's wares from him if you need to get some lyrium and Healy potions, which are useful. Mm-hmm. This game does not have enough lyrium or Healy potions, and there is the Andraste dragon. I couldn't kill it because I didn't have enough of those. And so if you want to get the super good ending, you have to stock up on lyrium for that stupid encounter. That's my thoughts on that. Anyway.
I'm choking.
I see that. So that's basically the only thing interesting that happens in Fort Dracon. You get to the roof, and the archdemon is there because it's kind of can't fly too much anymore because it got super stabbed by Riordan.
Demon, how you get so fly?
Now, this is a puzzle boss, a la Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, which is weird because the game doesn't have any of those.
But it has, it does, because it had the one boss with the turny heads that you couldn't use the power of Andraste on.
Right, I forgot. I hated that.
Yep. And there's one other puzzle boss. But yeah, so basically the puzzle here is that you kind of have to, it keeps summoning hordes, but all your armies are there too. So whoever didn't die in the siege of Denerim is there on the roof with you. And you have to be using the ballistas on the roof and aim them at the archdemon while not getting killed to win this fight.
And you can't just use the power of Andraste because the hordes are endless.
Yes, there is no point in really fighting the hordes. On the PS3, where I played this the first time, this part of the game was really, it was 10 frames a second. It was real bad.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the final boss fight, but it's compared to the fight against the Andraste dragon, really easy. Which I don't mind a boss fight being really easy. I think more.
No, I don't either. It's like you've become the most powerful person in the whole world. It shouldn't be such a challenge at this point.
Yeah. So aim the ballistas at the dragon. The dragon keeps moving around, and you kill it.
Well,
sort of.
Yeah.
So what happens when you kill it depends on your many choices through the game.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell Alistair to kill it.
Yep.
You can kill it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get Loghain to kill it if you let Loghain live and he became a Grey Warden.
Loghain? Loghain's long dead.
No, if you let him live, then you have the chance to not die, not impregnate Morrigan, and not have Alistair die. And that is to kill Loghain, which is what I did when I played it the first time.
Yeah, but if you don't kill Loghain at the Landsmeet, Alistair leaves your party, right?
Unless you've hardened him.
Oh.
I think that way you can still have Alistair be king, but he's not funny anymore.
Yes. Yeah, if you hardened Alistair, you can keep him or whatever.
And Vanessa hardened Alistair, but in the wrong way.
Morgan.
Yeah,
or the right way.
I think you meant to say Morrigan hardened Alistair. Really enjoying this.
So, John, who struck the killing blow for you?
Well, I did, because there's no downside to it, as soon as I climbed up that dragon and stabbed my sword deep in his head, the light shined and went inside Morrigan.
Well, I was gonna do it, but Alistair was like, no, you step aside, I love you, I'm gonna do it. So I think he's just trying to make up for having slept with Morgan, which he doesn't really have to because it was my idea, but he does have to make up for enjoying it. So, same thing though, he does it, light shines, goes into Morgan.
Mm-hmm. And we actually got a message about not talking about Loghain being a party member. He's really boring, which is the downside. You can talk to him and you get to know him a little bit and his motivations, and you can actually find maps, which are his gift item, but you barely have any time.
I found those all over.
Yeah. The maps are for Loghain.
Yeah.
But he is a party member and he does have dialogue and stuff. There's no loyalty mission, but there's stuff to do.
It's sort of poetic that he would be the one to do it.
Yeah.
After all of the harm and chaos he's caused.
It's certainly an option if you did not want to die. And the other thing you can do is if you do not want to sacrifice anyone else and you do not have Morgan get pregnant, is you can die. And it's
a tragic
fine
but heroic end.
because this isn't really a spoiler. The Warden is never the main character again in any of the other Dragon Age games.
That's right. Except Awakenings, if you count that.
Yeah, even then, there is an option to, and this is what I did when I played Awakenings for what I'm doing right now. You can choose to have a new Warden from Orlais, and it has some different dialogue and different story stuff.
Awakenings is technically DLC? Question mark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been a
Okay.
little confused on that too. But it's like standalone?
Yeah. Yeah, you can get it. I think it doesn't require on consoles. It doesn't require the game, but I think on PC it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of we'll talk about the Patreon episode. It front loads you with every single quest in the game right away. It's like, here's 30 quests.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And it really bridges the story between Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2.
Dragon Age 2 is the one that people generally don't like.
It's the one I love,
Yes,
but
John loves
yeah,
it.
but most people do not.
Gotcha. Why?
Because it uses the same has like 3 dungeons, and so they just like change doors, but you still see the other doors, so it's really badly done. But I just really like the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's got the best character stuff in any BioWare game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you can handle the dungeons in Persona, you can handle the dungeons in Dragon Age 2.
I
Or
love the dungeons in Persona.
Persona best game.
well, we'll talk about that on our best game.
Jesus, how many
Level
fucking
up.
bonus episodes are we gonna do?
We're doing a lot of
kidding.
bonus episodes the next few weeks, but
A lot of bonus.
We might consider blending some of these.
well, we can like stage them, figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Wait, what's this best games thing you're talking about?
We want to do a bonus up where we rate the games again or list best of again or whatever. And I promised
and
I would be
people
part of
really
this.
want Matt to be involved.
Yes.
I don't know why. Like I don't have anything interesting to say about it. All these games are trash, and I fucking hate you all.
Wow. So what ending did? So we've told the endings. Vanessa had Alistair kill it, but then the spirit of the archdemon went into the baby. I had I killed it myself. The spirit of the archdemon went into the baby. Matthew, ending.
I killed it and died.
Oh, so you didn't get the happy palace ending. Because there's a happy palace ending if you live.
What's the
Where you
happy
get to-
palace?
Jim,
ending?
how about you? You've been awfully quiet.
I
through
haven't
this,
finished the game
chunker.
yet, guys.
Yet?
Aww.
You're not finishing this
Yet.
fucking game.
I might.
Will you though?
Who knows, man? I own it.
It's true.
That's true. But yeah, if everyone lives, you get the happy palace ending, and I really enjoy this. I think it's the best way to end a game.
Yay! It's basically all your friends are in the palace. Alistair gives a happy speech about how happy he is and how great you are. At least that's what I got. And Honora's real happy too.
And Nora wasn't there. She's in the tower in my game.
Okay.
But he's like, we're going to get married. Everyone's happy. We all love each other.
And you talk to all your friends and sort of see what they're going to do next. Wynn is going to go back to the she's not actually. I think Wynn's gonna do some traveling. I don't think she wants to go back to the tower.
She a ghost.
Yeah, Wynn is a ghost. She's not long for this world.
Shale,
Vanessa gonna kill her.
Shale wants to explore the world and considers you a friend, but doesn't want to say the F word because Shale doesn't like the idea of friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite nice. Ogren is gonna try and get over the death of his wife and get drunk and maybe become a Grey Warden. We'll see about that.
Yeah, he's considering it.
Yeah. Who else is there? Zevran is gonna go traveling, and he invites you along. Leliana is not going back to the Chantry. She wants to help out with politics and stuff. And she comes back in the next 2 games, so you get to see more of her.
Yes.
And is there anyone else?
Did I tell you that when Morgan left, she turned into a doggy?
No.
Turned into a doggy.
Oh.
That's kind of amazing.
Well, that's neat. And let's see.
And were you like, bye, bitch?
Oh,
I mean, no. I was like, I love you.
Oh.
Sten is going to go back to the Kun. And who else is there? Is that everybody?
I think that's everyone. Morgan's not there.
Yeah, Morgan gone. She just disappears after immediately after the fight.
As promised.
Yeah. And
yeah, I think we covered everyone. I mean, Ban Tegan's there.
And the dog is there.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone gets a medal and stands in front as the fade to credits with, the happy ceremony.
Star Wars music
Star Wars.
playing,
Well, no, there's no Star Wars music.
Well, it sort of ends with there's like the doors leaving the throne room, and you hear all this cheering outside.
Mm-hmm.
And Alistair was like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yep." And then we like fling the doors open and cut to black.
Mm-hmm.
It's romantic and wonderful. Oh, what a great ending. I'm
Wow.
so happy.
Yay!
Mine was not. Mine had King Alistair having a funeral.
Oh, no. Aw.
Apparently, if I were to play Awakenings, though, I think it would... I was reading about it. Never mind.
But you can, in Awakenings, what I did was I just started a new warden.
I was reading that you can somehow still play as your warden, and the characters will
interesting.
recognize you, and Morgan will even specifically be like, "How did you survive?" But the game does not offer an explanation.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I just wanted to play as someone else. A sexy
did it.
dwarf.
We did it, guys.
Yay!
job, everyone.
We did
Except for
it.
Jim.
I'm
All right.
excited. We did it.
So,
I'm proud of us.
Me too.
I am proud of us too.
We did a good thing.
I guess we should figure out how we feel about this game in our squarely against segment.
Yeah, I guess we should. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I didn't like this game.
Oh, no.
Not at all?
Not at all. So I've been kind of struggling with this. The combat and stuff is fine. I mean, I played it on easy, so it wasn't tough. Though I had some run-ins where I had to like die and restart. But I didn't mind it because I was a mage and I just rained fucking fire down on everybody, and it was pretty fucking awesome. But I find this fantasy setting to be about as generic as it could possibly be. Almost as if somebody sat down and said, how can I make the most generic fantasy setting and tell the most generic fantasy story ever? And it really left me bored every time I was in a city or in a conversation or as the plot, unfurled, other than Morgan turning into a doggo, which was bizarre. So I know that this is a lot of people's favorite game, and I don't want to necessarily dump all over those opinions. I'm glad that people like it. But for me, it was a fucking snooze. And I'm excited to be done with it. What about you, Vanessa?
I think that I love this game for all the reasons that you hate it, because it is this sort of very classic, shall we say, fantasy game and setting. It has everything. It has the secret prince, it has the chosen one protagonist, it has the witch, it has the bard, it has the good witch.
But it's
it's got everything.
It's a very Game of Thrones take on the classic fantasy setting, where like it's unimaginative and generic, and to make up for that, everything's super fucking grimdark, and that does
it is
nothing
super
for me.
fucking grimdark. Yeah, it doesn't have much whimsy, except for Alistair, of course, who is a bright little ray of sunshine in all of our lives.
And Shale and the dog.
It just screams like 2000s edgelord. Remember how we were talking about? Hey, remember how when you fucking fast travel across the map, it's like a trail of blood? God,
Yeah.
that is the perfect.
That's cool, dude.
That is the
That's a
perfect
bit
fucking metaphor
much.
for this game. It is
I think you need to go
every
to cool
decision
school,
in this
bud,
game
'cause
is
that is
just
cool.
like that one. Let's make this fucking rad. Like, I feel like no creativity or imagination was used. Anyway, this is Vanessa's time. I apologize.
I love this game for the interpersonal relationships and the romance, of course. And I love this game because it is one of the games that I've talked about before where you can choose to be male or female, and the female protagonist's story is really good and interesting and doesn't really hinge on her being a woman, except in some of your romance choices. I think that some of the best video game writing of women is when they're trying to write a gender-neutral character, or just write a male and then swap the woman in, because really, there's not that much difference. And no one in the character is like, hey, you're a woman, I hate you, women can't do this or that. I like that fantasy world where gender is not as important. John, what do you think?
I really, really like this game. I think it's definitely in my top. We'll talk about that on our ranking episode. But
Yeah, tease that again.
the strategy is really cool. The spells are neat. The reason I played it on hard is so I force myself to use as many abilities as I can. And I find that there is a lot of options. There's still like stuff that doesn't work. I think the combat gets better. Like playing Inquisition, they've definitely thought through the abilities a bit more. And you don't have to... the way potions work in Inquisition is interesting because no one has healing spells, so it gets a lot harder.
That's dumb.
But I don't mind that. I think it makes you not lean on healers in the same way. But in this game, I liked having top-down combat. I liked it being strategic. I liked having archers and mixing up tanks and DPS and all that. I really like a lot of the characters. I like Shale, which I know Shale is the character that's in every BioWare game, the amoral psychopath.
It's the HK-47 kind of thing.
Yeah, the Rex, the HK-47. But it's still, I'm a sucker for that character because it's always really funny. And they always do a good job. I love the dog. Even if the dog's not a great party member, it still introduces a lot of silly scenarios. I love the sneaking into Fort Dracon stuff is really fun. I love Morgan. I think Claudia Black is one of the best voice actresses ever. And
she's great.
Having her in a game always elevates it. I don't like the generic fantasy stuff. I wish that they'd try to separate it a bit more from, especially like the dwarves. I know that Chad Mozart says specifically this rips off everything from World of Warcraft, including the music, but I don't know anything about World of Warcraft, so I can't tell you if that's true or not.
Nor do I.
But to me, it just seemed like Lord of the Rings. Like, it just seemed exactly like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's funny, and this is something I've really noticed having, as I've mentioned already several times, currently rereading The Wheel of Time. This game rips a lot off of The Wheel of Time. It is Tolkien meets The Wheel of Time.
I thought there's some Game of Thrones as well.
There is some Game of Thrones, but it's in the grimdark bullshit. But the setting with the magi that are fucking tightly controlled. Just a lot of the stuff about it does feel to me a lot like somebody was just like, well, I like the Wheel of Time and I like Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to smash those together and then drip some George R. R. Martin on them.
I feel like the game is at its best in the silly side quests, but I can totally understand why I think most people don't like that stuff, or only like a little bit of it. Want to have the grimdark with the silly side quests, not have a silly game. So not have a comedy RPG, because that could be the Bard's Tale, and that's terrible.
Oh no!
So I like the mix of tone stuff. I think that they actually get better with making it a bit more not lighthearted, but a bit more likable in the later games, which I guess we'll see as we move on and get older and play newer games. Yeah, so thumbs up roundly for Dragon Age Origins. Jim.
Yeah.
I'm kind of neutral on it. I mean, it's a fun game and the dialogue is neat, but it feels like just a mishmash of fantasy cliches that was kind of not interesting.
I just think
I never once wanted to read the codex.
Oh yeah,
which I feel like is a big indication that it's all so unnecessary and boring.
I kind of wish you could have the codex be read to you as you do other stuff, because I don't want to sit looking at menus. Mm-hmm. They're not easy to read.
Games that have audio logs that you can play.
Yeah,
and walk around.
Yeah,
and it's always adding stuff to the codex. So you play the game for 4 hours and there's so many codex entries to read. I just did not have time.
I know we have listeners who love that stuff.
Mm-hmm. We have listeners who have read the novelizations when they wrote in.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm not saying it's not worth liking if that's your thing. I'm just saying it wasn't my thing.
I know Artie was messaging our Twitter just the other day about the books, too. Anyway.
At least we can all agree that this game has the greatest voice actor ever in video games, Crossing Jordan, Steve Valentine.
Yay! And Claudia Black.
Yeah, she's okay, too.
Wow. You're still just mad about her taking your chunker.
All right, well, I guess that's it for Dragon Age. Say goodbye, blow it a kiss, kick its fucking ass out the door.
Age.
Before we go, it looks like we have a couple of emails. Do we want to read those?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not reading this. It is 17 paragraphs long.
I'll read this.
Do it, Jim.
I'll read this.
Do it, Jim.
I'll read this. Hello.
Hi.
I started listening to Square Roots a couple months ago at work after
you've been on
hearing
Square
a
Roots
priority
for 3
one.
Years, dude.
What?
You've been on this show for
just
3
started
years.
Listening.
Oh, no, shut up. I started listening to Square Roots a couple months ago at work after hearing a priority one about it on another podcast I listened to. I love the show and look forward to the new episodes every week. I've recently almost caught up with all the episodes. I only have a few left on the Patreon site to catch up on, and I've counted 3, I think, separate times when the topic of reviewing the game Shadow Hearts Covenant has come up. I randomly stumbled upon this game years ago when I was in high school and was browsing at GameStop. Might have still been EB Games back then for used games on the cheap. I picked it up thinking it looked interesting and proceeded to play and become enthralled by its combination of dark aesthetic and silly, ridiculous humor. I would love to hear you guys play and review the game, but understand that the game is hard to come by. I'm writing in because I think it was the 2018 Thanksgiving level up. You mentioned possibly just biting the bullet and getting the hardware game disc needed for the 4 of you to play it. If you would be interested in accepting a donation of the game, I currently own a set of the original PS2 discs that I would be happy to mail into you guys. I could probably even acquire another copy or 2 as well. If you're interested, let me know. Love the show. Look forward to the next Ear Blast. Brian Davis.
Earload.
Dibs on a Shadow Hearts Covenant copy.
I've already got mine.
That's an amazing offer. I may or may not have one. I know I've played it before. And therefore should have the discs because I never do go trade in anything, but I could have given them away.
Brian, if you want to email us on the side, I think that Jim would love to have a copy sent to him. We won't put out addresses over the air.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's really nice. And we did have a... I will say, I've never played it. John's been talking about it for years. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And I do really want to get like we'll figure this out. This is part of what the Patreon's for too. Is I would love, this is like a long-term stretch goal for me, is getting 4 PSPs and 4 copies of Metal Gear Acid, so we can have a Metal Gear RPG, which is it's the most insane game I've ever played. So that's definitely one of the like future plans that I would like to do. And I think we're well on our way to having everyone having DSs in Sonic the Dark Brotherhood too, which is another stretch goal for me.
We did get a second letter, and I'll read it. It says, "Hello all. In honor of Jim being a twin, I was wondering what are some of your favorite video game twins? Thank you,
Ooh.
Ryan."
What?
Twins?
I had trouble. I read this like a week ago, and I had trouble coming up with even one instance that I could think of a video game twin.
Really?
There's
Well,
got to be some
give me
evil
some
twins out there, because everybody knows twins is evil.
There is twins in this game. They're the brother and sister twins that you fight in the Proving. There are twins in Final Fantasy IV, Palom and Porum, who are probably my favorite video game twins.
There are my favorite video game twins. I do not remember their name, but they're in Infinite Undiscovery.
Oh, I love those twins.
Dinner.
There
They are the
are
best twins.
the twin. There are the giant twins you fight at the end of the first level of Golden Axe, who were integral in my sexual awakening.
Oh.
There's the Twin Towers.
Oof. God.
What about just any media? Do you have a favorite twin pairing or movie, Jim? Were you into movies about twins as a kid?
The movie Twins is a classic.
Yeah. No two twins are quite the same. Life is just a learning game. You use your head, you'll always win. That's just the Edison twins.
About like Sister or Mary Kate and
Oh.
Ashley?
Oh man.
What about that one
I
with the
watched-
Jean-Claude Van Damme twins?
What about the twins from the Bud Light commercial? Twins! So, guys, before we go, we have a Patreon that we need to plug. Who want to plug Patreon?
What about Ringer, the short-lived Sarah Michelle Gellar vehicle on
I
the
never
CW?
saw that.
She played good twin and evil twin.
Were the Ryder siblings twins in Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh, maybe.
Did anybody
I
other
think
than
they
you play
were.
that?
I did.
Both of us did, yeah.
I didn't realize Vanessa did.
We both finished it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so let's plug a Patreon.
Oh, okay. Jim,
Let's see.
are
What?
you or is Kaylee the evil twin?
Wow. That's
Um,
offensive.
I mean,
Pretty-
I'm the better
Pretty
twin.
clear
Wow.
that they're both the evil twin.
Let's see. Are we reading Patreon names?
No, we're plugging the goddamn Patreon.
Oh,
we
I
always
thought you
do
just did
this.
that.
No,
I thought you just did that.
I said we should
Oh.
plug the Patreon.
Whoa,
That's what he
that's isn't that the plug? Hey, should we plug the okay. No, we have a
Patreon.com/Square
Patreon.
Roots Podcast. Go listen, vote,
You get lots of neat stuff.
poop it out your bum.
Oh yeah, you get $3. You get all our bonus episodes for $5 a month. You get to vote, and I will. I promise I'm putting up the vote today, so it'll already be online by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, is that for-
for next month's verses? And I made the edits that Matthew suggested. So.
We also have a couple of bonuses that we're going to be, I think, releasing on the Patreon feed. Right? We're going to do a new ranking. We're going to do a Captain Marvel discussion. And John, Vanessa, and our old friend Stan Ferguson are going to do a Dragon Age Awakenings episode. Excuse me, Dr. Steven Stone.
Okay, thank you.
And obviously our next game, as voted on by the patrons, is going to be Earthbound. And you can expect that next week. Episode,
Oh, boy.
you know.
Yeah,
I'm
This is
excited.
Earthbound is fun.
So definitely check that out. Reasonably priced, lots of bonus material, and we obviously hugely appreciate it. It helps us keep the lights on here in the old Square Roots house. Part of being a patron is that we read your name at the end of the show, and we're going to do that right now. Jim? Get us started.
Yeah. Wonderswan, John's gatekeeping lunacy. Vanessa's mom, Eric Garb, Megan Sullivan has a big old crush on. Tyler Petty.
Oh, wow.
Joseph A. Rogers, Jason Aaron Bachman, Brian Stone, Julia Zanella, Jonathan Lee, Jonathan Ellsworth, PJ Enns, Robert M. Pollum, Ashley T., James Hostetler, Zachary Davis, Tracy Tanoff, Devin Sloan.
We also want to give a big thank you to Kyle, Chris Pinyak, Huxley Iguana, Owen Marble. Vanessa votes for Alistair Iron Bull romance option.
Who told you?
Brian Pitt, Randy Pierce, Race Jenkins, Resty Kamada, Dr. Steven Stone, Robert T., Cameron Shoei. I would listen to Matt's Wheel of Time corner, wouldn't you? Jake Fuzzy Pickles Dickerson, who plays Dead.
I
Sam
get that
Harrison,
now.
Florian Jonas Kramer, George Armbruster, Vanessa's mom, Ryan Miller, Gregory, Samu Mitchell, Samu, great job on the memes the other day, and Jared Collins.
Also, Crystal Thamrin, James Platt, Cyril the Wolf, Benjamin Avner. Matt said to change this to "You guys should start a Wheel of Time pod." Is fighting to the death with T. Bumpkins, Sean Walsh, Label Sec, Kiva Moser, Andrew Granieri, David Shook, Brady A. Berman, Body Midkiff, Andrew Boggle Noddlesaus. I know what that's from. That's a Weird Al reference. Justin Benoit.
Fine, say everyone's name, at least it annoys Matt. Ross Hartley, Xavier Krieger, Stu Skeel, Nathan Poirot, Julian Titus, Brody Toy, Patrick W. Bears, Justin Ham, Andy Best, Matt's boyfriend Jimifer, G. Bailey, Miguel Torres, Ward Childress, Bree Girth, Tom, and, of course, the Bad Dragon Dildo sponsorship program.
Yay!
Love you, Bad
Else
Dragon.
wonder
Really?
if that is somebody that works for Bad Dragon and was like, Bad Dragon Dildos and was like, you know what?
We could ruin the fun and go look on whose name it is. But I don't
Why would
wanna
we do that?
I don't want to know. I want to live in a world where Bad Dragon supports us as much as we support Bad Dragon.
It's
That's
true.
this is the closest we're ever going to come to any kind of sponsorship.
That's very
So
true.
we might as well.
I will say that as much as reading all of these names has grown to annoy me over the months, the listeners are really putting in the effort to make it a goddamn delight every week. So thank you, patrons. All right, Jim, outro time.
All right. Yep, that is it for this week's episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the podcast, please send it to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come chat us up at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod. Also, thanks to Edward Alenko for his cover of Leliana's song. You can find him on YouTube or at facebook.com/edwardmusic. Also, links to these and his SoundCloud in the show notes.
And rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everybody, that's it for this week's episode of Square Roots.
Hey,
Square
hey, guys. Where are we playing to next week in Earthbound?
Oh, good question.
We're
You know, the
defeating-
listeners, they've already shut the podcast down.
Well, that's what you get for not hanging out for all the fun back matter.
We are defeating Captain Strong.
Oh.
Captain Strong!
I don't know what that voice was.
I don't either.
All right, everybody, that's it for Square Roots. I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I am John Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa, Queen of Ferelden and wife consort to Alistair, King of Ferelden.
Wife consort. Isn't that an either-or type thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Morgan's his consort.
Yeah,
not just the
Morgan is
wife.
his consort, buddy. Remember how you decided that Morgan was going to be his consort? I mean, here's what I don't understand. Like, Morgan is 100% and very clearly the hottest goddamn character in this game, or in any game we've ever played. So, I have a feeling that handing Alistair over to her, even for an evening, probably ruined him.
Well, at least she disappears.
samahalanu